So for my homily today, I wanted to talk a bit about the lesson talks about the point where Sophia meets up with Christos, and he puts a basically like a ring of light around her forehead, and the darkness falls out of her, and it reminds me a bit of the bride chamber, where his light purifies hers, and then hers what brightens his. But the thing that caught my attention when I read it the first couple of times was that it was the ring of light itself that he put around the top of her head. You know, on one level, it reminds me of the halo you see behind all of the images in the chapel here. And it also makes me think about, weirdly enough, the chakras. And I know it's not exactly a clear metaphor, but being up here, it seems to mesh, at least in my head, with the last of the seven chakras, the one, the crown chakra, which is the connection between ourselves and the divine, for lack of a better term. And it got me thinking that what the lesson is talking about is Jesus was basically clearing her third eye, or not her third eye, but her connection with the divine, which had gotten muddy with her falling into the abyss and then her ascent back up, which also made me realize that while she needed help to get back out of her situation, she basically had the power the whole time. She just didn't completely realize it, and like most of us, needed help to fully realize it. And that got me thinking about the rest of the story, in which, well, basically, I sort of took it as a metaphor for problems and life in general, and how, we get tricked, or we deceive ourselves, or we get confused, or something happens, and then we end up in this terrible situation. And as humans, sometimes we can get stuck on the whole, how did I get here? Do I deserve to be in this situation? What did I do? Sort of the whole, like, well, I at least have a tendency to beat myself up about things. And I realized that in this parable, while she falls, mistaking the reflection for the true light, she never once does any of those things. She does what she can to get out of the situation. She asks for help, and she doesn't own the situation as an identity. It's basically, she's in this horrible situation surrounded by these things that are after her. And, she does what she can to get out of it, and to get help, to get out of the stuff she can't do herself. And it made me realize how basically her descent and ascension is a metaphor for the way to move through problems in our own life, regardless of how they happened or why they happened, and instead focus on what we can do and on getting the help for the things we can't do. It's a little bit like, there's a country song. If you're going through hell, keep on moving, don't slow down, put your back into it, and you might get out before the devil even knows you're there. And it's about moving through things as much as possible, helping yourself as much as possible, and not giving into the dark situation around you, whether it's, you know, people getting sick, or, you know, with COVID, or the riots. I mean, there's all kinds of things external, plus our own things in our own lives. I mean, you know, I spent the last week recovering from getting a booster shot on Sunday. So, you know, we all have things of different levels in our lives, but the point isn't, you know, focusing on why they happened or if we deserve it or not. It's about taking stock of the situation as it is, going, okay, in my situation, it was like, okay, I feel like crap. Don't overdo it. Get more sleep, you know, hydrate, all of that stuff. And, you know, do what I can, and don't worry about the things I can't do because, you know, because I have a mild fever and a headache. So yeah, yeah. So in that way, I think I, and probably a lot of other people watching this, could be a bit more like Sophia in the seeing the situation for what it is, and not what our minds or what others try and tell us, you know, whether it's the archons chasing after us, or, you know, thoughts in our head going, oh, you deserve this for XYZ or whatever. Just breathe, be in the moment, and do what you can, and ask for help for that which you can't.